Hi, today I'm going to be answering two questions and I'm going to be talking about drawing talent and whether or not I even think it even exists. Hi, my name is Luis Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist on the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 20 years now. And okay, so I'm going to answer these questions. When you first started drawing, what was the most difficult step for you? And also, would you say you were a talented artist when you first started? And to be honest, I was, like every other kid with a box of crayons, you just start drawing it. There's nothing really that difficult when you first start that way. You're not really judging yourself in that way, the way that you are when you get older. By the point when I got to the point when I really wanted to start drawing a little bit more serious, when I was 8 or 9, I still didn't have that judgment of myself. In fact, maybe I was too dumb to realize that I wasn't very good. So I just started. Now, the most difficult step to become a pro, that's a different thing. Um, so let me answer this question this way. When I first started drawing, the most difficult thing that I had to get over was the fact that to become really good would require learning things I had no interest in. Things like anatomy, perspective, shading, and just learning how to draw from life. I had zero interest in it, in that as I was learning to draw, and I avoided learning that stuff for years. Why didn't I want to learn this stuff? Because to do that would make drawing seem like work, and I drew for fun. It never occurred to me that anything worth knowing and doing well requires work. Even if it's fun work, it's still work. Getting over the laziness was very difficult. So that was the difficult part. That was the thing that was really difficult for me, was just getting out of my comfort zone and stop doing what I thought was easy to start doing, to start developing and leveling up and becoming better than I was, and doing what I didn't want to do, which was actually work and practice. Okay, so to answer the other question, also, would you say you were a talented artist when you first started? I think as a kid, I would have told you I was talented, but the reality is that I was a mediocre artist as a kid. I actually have proof of my mediocrity on my blog, but here I'm going to put some drawings up so that you can see what I'm talking about. I don't remember anyone calling me talented growing up, but it's really common when you do something over and over so much that you start kind of getting a little bit better at it, that people will just automatically assume that you're talented. But if someone called me that, it would have just encouraged me to continue drawing. It would not have actually made me good at drawing. It would just have encouraged me. The only way that I would have gotten better if I had stopped being lazy and started studying drawing fundamentals. So really, that's the thing. So let me talk about drawing talent. Um, I think that people have some proficiencies in things. For example, there are some people who are really good at math, while other people struggle. So some things come easier to some people than others. However, if you've noticed in school, the people who are not necessarily good at math still have to learn math. Shocking. So my my question is, just because you have a proclivity and something, and you're able to pick up certain things better than other things, like in math, it doesn't prevent those people who don't have that proclivity to be able to draw or learn that skill. So in school, if you're not good at math, tough. You're going to learn it anyway. And you're going to practice it. And you're going to get good at it, whether you're good at it to begin with innately or not. So, yes, there are some people who have a proclivity. They can pick things up a little bit faster but when it comes to drawing than other people. However, those people are really, really rare. There are very, very few people who could actually do this that I've seen in the animation industry that I work in, and that I've seen in any kind in the art professional field as a whole. Very, very few people have that innate, just built in. They're really good at it. For the most part, everybody that is a professional artist had to work at it, had to is one of those kids. And here's the thing: it's one of those kids who didn't stop drawing, who didn't stop. There's a lot of kids who suddenly, at the age around 7 or 8, they begin to get really self-conscious, and they begin to judge their art. Like right away, they start getting really judgmental, and then they just quit. And there's this mental barrier that you have to get through that is either not there, or you're so full of yourself, or you've turned it off, that that self-critiquing, angry person that makes you stop drawing goes away. It's not there. So that's what I'm trying to say, is that there is a group of people who, not necessarily because they were talented, but because they just simply kept doing something until it became more habitual, until it became easier for them to do. Really, what I'm saying is that doing it made them better. That was kind of what happened to me. I didn't stop. So just by the very fact that I kept doing it made me better than someone who didn't do it at all. Surprise! Shocking! You know, that's really what it is. It's not talent. And so people really mean well when they say you're so talented. They do. When they look at that drawing you say, and they're like, oh, you're so talented. But really, it's a slap in the face to all the hours and hours and hours you put into learning how to make your hand do what you wanted it to. And here's the thing that blows my mind is that people who have learned to write, handwriting, regular handwriting, that is making marks, making controlled marks. And that is practice, and that is drawing. You're drawing letters. You're drawing numbers. And when you watch a little kid learn to write for the first time, it's terrible. And when you look at it, just imagine, just look at a little kid when they're learning to draw, and then then turn off that understanding that you have of mileage of all that handwriting that you've done. Watch this little kid and picture in your mind that little kid is learning to draw, not write. And then look at beginning artists that are older who want to start learning to draw, and how frustrated they are because their drawings don't look well. Well, look at that little kid and look at your own drawings, and then you see there's a correlation there. It's the same process. You're at that level. You're at the basic stepping stone levels. You were at that point at some time. But if you were to look at the way you write now compared to how you were when you first started, why is it better? Because you've done it over and over. It's repetition. You did it so much that it's become second nature. And that is not talent. That's just hard work. That is just repetition and practice. So, is there people that have an innate thing that can just pick it up? Yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're everyone that can draw. In fact, like I said, very few people in the actual profession even have that kind of ability. Very few. I could think of maybe 3, and I work in the animation industry. So it's not about talent. Now, very quickly, I'm going to show you, and so on the screen, I'm going to show you where I first started, and here's a comic strip that I did. And so you're going to see this comic strip, and it's not all that very good, right? And so, but what ended up happening was I just kept on doing it. And then months after months of doing it, my stuff kind of evolved, like years after, I should say. About 2 or 3 years later, when I started off in elementary school, and then I went to junior high, and I just kept on doing it. And in junior high, my stuff evolved. I just started playing around with shapes and doing other things. So, and I started picking up stuff from artists that I enjoyed, and I started copying other artists. And so the stuff started evolving. And then my parents gave me a crow quill pen, a dip pen. It's a crow quill. It looks like this. Okay, you dip this. And so after I did the crow quill, I started using the crow quill. I felt very, very professional. And I have comic strips that have that there. And then so after that, I just started, still using the crow quill. I started coloring things with marker, just trying to experiment with color. And then after that, I quit the markers because they were too hard to control. I started using colored pencils, still using a crow quill, but because I kept on using the crow quill, I started getting better at it, started having more control, and then I just started doing more experimental stuff. Eventually, I evolved into using a brush. I decided, I read a book showing me how a brush was used. So in high school, I started using a brush to ink my stuff. So this is the stuff that I was doing in high school. Notice there wasn't very large jump in ability. I mean, from junior high to high school, but it's still about the same. You could see the progression, the leveling up, the learning. And then in high school, and then after high school, I started. I actually redid a comic strip that I did a long time ago when I was in high school, and then I did that. So there's this, still using the brush. And then once I was hired on the Simpsons, I just kept on doing my own thing. And then this is what I would do. There's like roughs and stuff, and see, notice it's pretty much the same stuff. Same characters, same everything. I mean, really, my stuff didn't really evolve all that much. And then up until now, like today, I'm still doing the same thing. I don't know. It's kind of sad. Everything I do looks like the stuff I was doing when I was in junior high. It's kind of sad. But yeah, like, do you see? It doesn't. I don't. It's not talent. It was just doing it for years and years and years. But you could see that there is definitely a change and an evolution. So yeah, drawing talent. I don't think there is a drawing talent. I think there is an affinity. Some people, very rarely. Some people can pick it up. Really, their brain is just wired to pick that stuff up. But people like me, I struggled a lot. And it was practice and doing it and repeating, doing it over and over and messing up a lot and learning it. That's really what it is. It's not talent. And anybody can do it if they put the effort in it, if they put the draw flu in it. All right? And if you want to learn to do this, if you want to learn to draw and you don't, and you think that talent is required, I could teach you how to do it without having any innate talent at all. So I have a website called the Drawing Website where that's exactly what I do. I just start you from scratch. I don't assume that you even know how to draw a straight line, and I teach you how to draw a straight line, teach you how to draw stick figures, all that stuff. So just go to www.thedrawingwebsite.com and get started there. If you found this video valuable, I would like to encourage you to return value for value by becoming one of my patrons over on Patreon. Not only will you encourage me to continue making informative videos that are useful to you, but you get extra perks too. For only a small investment of $1 a month, you can get all new videos I create months before anyone else gets to see it. Also, if you have any questions you'd like me to answer as a patron, you get priority and I answer your questions first. On top of that, when you're a patron at any level, you become part of a raffle where I send original art via mail to the winner of that month. The higher your tier, the better your opportunity to win. Higher tier patrons also get access to any art I do in high-res JPEGs and also full access to PSD files to any work I do, including the PSD files of these videos. Currently, there's a huge backlog of downloadable files you can get, so right away you're going to get quite a lot of bang for your buck. And the more patrons I get, the better these videos will get. The more content I can produce. In other words, the more you benefit. Please consider becoming a patron. Thanks. The link to my Patreon is on the screen and in the description of this video. All right, so I hope this has been inspiring for you, and I will see you next time. All right, bye.